High in the Himalayas, a man named Rishi sat in deep meditation. Years turned into decades. The world below continued its relentless churn, but Rishi remained still. His mind, however, was far from quiet. It raced through eons of knowledge, unlocking secrets hidden within the universe itself. Rishi achieved a state of enlightenment few could ever dream of. He could access any piece of knowledge ever recorded. He mastered languages in a blink. The arts unfolded before him like blooming flowers. He could even shift his form at will. Rishi emerged from his meditative state a changed man. He possessed abilities beyond the comprehension of most. But with great power came a profound realization. The earth, his home, was ailing. Humanity had lost its way, consumed by greed and disregard for the natural world. The planet was slowly dying. Rishi felt a deep sorrow grip his heart. He looked at the faces of children, their eyes reflecting a poisoned world. This was not the future he envisioned. He wouldn't stand idly by. He would use his newfound abilities to heal the planet and guide humanity back to its roots. His journey would be fraught with challenges, but Rishi was determined to succeed. The fate of Earth rested on his shoulders. The world Rishi saw upon ending his isolation filled him with despair. Pollution choked the skies. Rivers ran dry or overflowed with toxic waste. Once lush forests were now barren wastelands. Humanity had become a virus, consuming and destroying everything in its path. Rishi knew drastic measures were needed. Simply cleaning up the mess wouldn't be enough. He had to change the very course of history. He needed to reach humanity before it strayed so far from nature. Time travel. A concept once relegated to the realm of science fiction. But for Rishi, it was now a possibility. He delved into the deepest recesses of his mind, unlocking the secrets of manipulating space and time. The risks were immense, yet the potential reward was even greater. Rishi chose a time long before the Industrial Revolution, before the worst of humanity's excesses. He set his sights on the ancient world, a time when humans lived closer to the land. It was a gamble, but Rishi believed it was humanity's best hope. He focused his mind on a specific point in time, the era before the rise of the Roman Empire. With a deep breath and a leap of faith, Rishi stepped into the unknown, ready to face whatever awaited him in the past. He carried the weight of the world on his shoulders, but also a heart filled with hope. The journey to heal the earth had begun. The world Rishi entered was a far cry from his expectations. Gone were the idyllic images of harmony with nature he'd envisioned. Instead, he found himself in a world of dirt and disease. The air, though free of industrial smog, was thick with smoke from wood fires and the stench of human waste. People were lean, their faces etched with hardship. Malnutrition was rampant. Children, their bellies distended, played in the filth. Superstition reigned supreme. Rishi witnessed firsthand the brutal practices performed in the name of gods he didn't recognize. He was a man out of time, his modern sensibilities shocked by the harsh realities of the ancient world. Rishi knew he couldn't reveal his true identity or the extent of his knowledge. Such revelations would only lead to fear and distrust. So he chose to blend in, adopting the guise of a simple traveler. He dressed in rough-spun clothes, hiding his refined features beneath a thick beard. He observed the local customs, learning the nuances of their language and social interactions. Rishi knew his mission was a delicate one. He couldn't force change upon these people. He had to earn their trust, to subtly guide them towards a more sustainable path. It was a daunting task, but Rishi was determined to succeed. The fate of humanity and the earth itself depended on it. Section 4. A Healer's Guise. Rishi chose to use his vast medical knowledge as his tool for change. He couldn't reveal the true source of his abilities, so he relied on his keen observation skills and knowledge of herbal remedies. At first, the people were wary of the stranger with his strange ways. He encountered skepticism and fear. But Rishi persevered, his compassion shining through. He treated the sick and injured without judgment, asking only for food and shelter in return. Slowly, word of his healing touch spread. People began to seek him out, drawn to his gentle demeanor and uncanny ability to cure ailments that had plagued their families for generations. He taught basic hygiene practices, stressing the importance of clean water and proper waste disposal. He demonstrated the value of composting and crop rotation, showing how to improve soil fertility without resorting to destructive practices. Rishi knew he was planting seeds of knowledge that he hoped would take root and flourish. He couldn't single-handedly change the course of history in a single lifetime. But he could empower these people to make better choices, to live in greater harmony with the natural world. His reputation as a healer grew with each passing day. He became a beacon of hope in a world riddled with suffering. Little did they know that their humble healer was a man from a distant future, fighting to save their world, their future. Section 5. The Queen's Affliction. News of Rishi's healing prowess reached the ears of the king. The kingdom was in turmoil. The queen, a woman beloved by her people, lay deathly ill. For weeks she had been ravaged by a mysterious ailment. Court physicians, despite their best efforts, were baffled. Their potions and poultices offered no relief. The king, a man accustomed to having control, was beside himself with worry. He had sent emissaries to far-off lands, seeking any healer who could cure his beloved queen. But all had failed. The queen's condition worsened with each passing day. The royal court buzzed with anxiety. The queen's illness had cast a pall over the kingdom. People whispered that she had been cursed, that the gods were angry. The king, desperate for a miracle, offered a handsome reward to anyone who could save his wife. Days turned into weeks, and the queen's life hung precariously in the balance. The king's hope dwindled with each failed attempt to cure her. He feared the worst. The thought of losing his queen, the love of his life, was unbearable. He refused to give up hope. He would move heaven and earth to save her. Section 6. A Plea for Trust. When word of Rishi's healing reached the palace, the king summoned him immediately. It was a long shot, but the king was desperate. Even though Rishi's methods seemed unorthodox, his success stories offered a glimmer of hope. Brought before the king, Rishi found himself facing a man broken by worry and fatigue. The king, his eyes red-rimmed and his face etched with worry, looked upon Rishi with a mixture of hope and skepticism. He had heard the rumors, the whispers of the healer's strange but effective methods. Rishi, sensing the king's desperation, bowed low. "Your Majesty," he said, his voice calm and reassuring, "I have heard of your queen's affliction. While I cannot promise a cure, I offer my knowledge and skills in her service." The court physicians scoffed, their pride wounded by the king's willingness to trust an outsider. They whispered amongst themselves, their words laced with disdain for Rishi's unconventional methods. Rishi ignored their barbs. He addressed the king directly, his voice steady and reassuring. He explained that illness was not a curse but a result of natural causes. He spoke of the importance of observation, of understanding the delicate balance within the body. The king, desperate for a miracle, agreed to let Rishi examine the queen. It was a risky decision, going against the advice of his trusted physicians. But something in Rishi's demeanor, a quiet confidence and unwavering compassion, convinced the king to place his trust in the hands of this enigmatic healer. If you enjoyed this video, stay tuned for part 2 coming soon.